Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of my 30-day life challenge. Okay, so today's topic is the promotion I didn't get became one of my greatest lessons. So, have you ever worked incredible hard, done everything that was asked for you, given your best every day, and only to realize only to realize that someone else got the opportunity you were hoping for? I'm sure it can be discouraging and it can make you question yourself. But sometimes what feels like a rejection is actually preparing you for something greater. So today I want to share one experience from my career that completely changed the way I look at growth, leadership, and believing in myself. So let's start with a little bit of my background. So I spent more than 25 years working in the film industry. It was a career that changed me in ways I never imagined. Every production was different. So I had different teams, different personalities, different systems, different technology. You couldn't become comfortable for very long because every new project required you to learn, to adapt, and to grow all over again. So looking back, my career taught me so much. It taught me resilience. It taught me confidence. It taught me organization. It taught me how to communicate under pressure. And also, it taught me how to solve problems when there wasn't an obvious solution. It taught me to stay resourceful. It taught me to embrace new technology because every production seemed to have its own way of doing things. It also taught me how to train and support others as they step into new roles. Those are skills I still use every single day. But one lesson stands above all others, and that is there came a point in my career when I knew I was ready for the next position. I had worked hard, I had gained experience, I believe I was prepared for the promotion. So I asked, but I was told no. No, because I wasn't capable. I was told because they wanted me to stay where I was because I was good at my current position. At first that sounded like a compliment, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized something. If I stay where I was, if I stay where I was, simply because I was good at it, I might still have a job, okay, which was great. I will be working for the entire year, no worries. But I may never grow. And I could spend years doing the same thing. I could become comfortable. And what could happen is that one day, someone younger, faster, or with different experience could eventually replace me anyway. So I made one of the hardest decisions of my career, and that is I left that production. I didn't have another job waiting. There was no guarantees. I simply believed that if I wanted to grow, I had to create a space for new opportunities. I still remember what my boss told me that day. It wasn't actually my boss who said no. So you guys know, it was the producer. My boss asked on my behalf, and that was the answer. So she came back and gave me the answer. But then we had a talk, okay? Um, and then when when she came and talked to me, um, she told me, she said, okay, you're making the right decision. And then she shared something that stayed with me. She told me she had never been promoted either. So she was in the same situation as me. She was good at her job, at her position. So she was not promoted, not because she wasn't capable. She was very well capable, but because she was also very good at the position she already had. So instead, those opportunities were given to other people, not because they had the experience either. They didn't have the experience. I would say probably she had more experience than the other person, but She was good at her position. So the difference between her and I is that, you know, she stayed and I chose to leave. And that conversation became one of my biggest lessons of my career. So sometimes your greatest growth begins the moment you're willing to become uncomfortable. Because, comfortable feels safe, but comfort doesn't always lead to growth. Sometimes we have to let go of what is familiar to be able to create room for what is possible. So, standing up for yourself isn't about being difficult, it's about believing that you are capable of more. No one will care about your growth more than you do. And sometimes the hardest person to convince is yourself. So maybe this lesson has nothing to do with changing careers. Maybe it's about learning a new skill. Or maybe it's about starting something you have been thinking about for years. Or maybe it's about having a difficult conversation. Or maybe it's about believing that you are ready even if no one else sees yet. But I want you to ask yourself these two questions. Where have I become comfortable? So think about that. And the other question is, what opportunity am I avoiding because it feels uncertain? You see, growth rarely begins inside our comfort zone. The first step doesn't have to be perfect, it simply has to be taken. So, looking back today, I'm grateful for every challenge that my career gave me because it shaped who I am today. It taught me resilience, it taught me leadership, it taught me adaptability, but most importantly, it taught me to believe enough in myself to leave comfort behind when I knew I was capable of more. So sometimes the opportunity you're looking for isn't on the other side of working harder. Sometimes it's on the other side of making a courageous decision. So thank you so much for joining me for day 3. I'll see you tomorrow as we continue. Sorry. I'll see you tomorrow as we continue this journey together. But before we end this live, I would love to hear from you. And I do have a question. So, have you ever had to leave your comfort zone to grow? And if you did, what did that experience teach you? Or what's one lesson from your career that still helps you today? So I love to read your story in the comments. So please put it in the comments if you can answer those questions, and I'll be happy to read your questions. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched the live with me today. And for those catching the replay, thank you so much. And also thank you to my followers and my community. So God bless you all, and thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another uh, story of my journey. Bye, everyone.